What are you going to do in Mjengo in Nairobi if you can create more money here? Farming has more money than whatever thing I'm doing in Nairobi. I came down here, so there is money down here, and this is also is something that I'm trying to incite our youth. There is more money here. I'm calling upon the government. I'm calling upon our local leaders. Let us do a lot of sensitization. Let's do a lot of training to these local farmers. Let's do more of this and inform and give the farmers more information that whatever thing the practice they are doing is so much risk to their health. It's so much risk to the person that is selling the product. So this cannot happen if our local leaders has not come up to help farmers realize and get knowledge on whatever thing they are doing. Putting a plan. Don't put a short-term plan. Don't put a plan whereby I'm just going to raise goats for a certain time, a certain period. I'm just going to raise pigs for a certain period. Create a farm that is going to serve you, your children, your grandchildren, and even a fourth generation to come. Kwa majina naitwa Sammy Otieno, Director Jibofam Supplies, and currently we are operating Jibofam agrovet in Malava town. It is high time we start thinking about high production. You know, when you want to realize a proper profit, especially on chicken, you have to at least raise 100 chicken and above. That is on terms of meat. If you want to realize a good profit, a reasonable profit in meat production on chicken, at least have 100 chicken and above. Another thing that you have to consider that these cuckoos have to have a proper structure. A proper structure means that structure has to have a good ventilation. Yani inamaanisha kwamba it means that there's a good circulation of the air inside. There are some of the places, if you get into the structure of a chicken, the ammonia concentration itself won't allow you to stay there for even 2 seconds, because the structure is not properly created or built. Now, when I come back to the production or the number of the flock you raise, a number will help you realize a good profit. If you keep a small number of cuckoos, you may end up just exchanging money with money, or you end up into a loss, because the feed consumption is high. So we need to put a higher number for us to realize a higher profit, because this thing has a profit. We have people who are doing it even in urban centers like in Nairobi. Like for example, as Jibofam Supplies, we have clients from Kajiado, we have clients in Nairobi, we have clients in Kiambu, we have clients in Thika. They are doing a good number of chicken and they are realizing a good profit. I have clients that release 500 cuckoos daily. And locally here, as in Kabras, the larger Kabras, we have all the potential. We have a good space. We have all the money, because we get money from the sugar cane, and we just waste it. We throw it away. Throwing away means that hiyo ndio wakati ambapo you want to furahisha mwili, not forgetting that tomorrow you will need that money. Why can't we kind of plow it back in things like chicken production, meat production that is on the livestock? If we replow this money that we get from sugar harvesting, it is going to help us continuously, rather than we get it from sugar and then we waste it into drinks, into eating well and other things. When we replow it into the other production like chicken, it's going to help us. And that's why I'm saying there is money within. So it's upon us to even attend the seminars that we organize. By the way, we organize seminars for farmers every month. If we can attend these seminars, we can always know on how we can use the small money we have to get more money. So it is good for us to continue having a bigger production, rather than what the small thing that we have been having. We have been having a tendency whereby we get early in the morning, the chicken goes its way, the owner of the chicken gets into its way. What wakutane jioni. That system cannot help us realize a good production in meat, and it will not benefit us, and we will continue languishing in poverty because we are not embracing the new technology. We don't want to put this improved kienyeji because some of the people say that this is kuku ya kizungu. We don't want to raise this. We are not embracing livestock that are producing more milk like Fresian and other breeds, because we are saying we are used to our local cow. Please, let's embrace the new technology. Let's increase on our production by putting more and more livestock that are going to give us more production in terms of milk, in terms of meat. When it comes to pigs, we imagine we have large parcels of land that are just lying. We have homes that have big spaces that we are not utilizing, and yet pigs are not so much difficult to raise. We can do this. We can do this in our areas. We have large parcels of land that people are just planting the normal seeds that are not helping them. Let's embrace these hybrid seeds. Let's embrace the seeds that are going to give us more yield and more production. That will help us to kick away the poverty. That will help us to kick away the anger that bites us every time and again. When you are keeping chicken, one, you have to know the number. The number you are keeping will also determine the amount of money you are going to earn. So don't ignore on the number of the chicken you are putting, and also the breed, the generation that you are putting on. Then when we come to farming ile ya shamba, please let's embrace the new technology, like using of fertilizers, using of tractors to dig, and also getting a good knowledge on how to tackle any other pesticides that are going to disturb you on the farm. Let's not ignore. When you see any symptom, please let's pick it right from the beginning so that we don't end up losing the whole farm because of something that we really ignored. Poultry farming is not expensive because one, with the improved kienyeji, you can always raise them to up to 2 months, and then now you can subsidize. Don't fully use the local available food, but you can always subsidize. It's just that we get into this farming without proper math. I'm raising 100 cuckoos. How much am I going to use on feed? How much am I going to use on drugs? How much am I going to realize when I'm selling? You know what? The reason why it look expensive, we are traveling up with this business. But when you have a proper plan about poultry business, is one of the lucrative. I can tell you that. Where I am at my local place, at my local village, I keep, for example, broilers, and I harvest food on it. I've never kind of run into a loss since I started that business of broilers. The advice I would like to give a farmer who wants to start doing farming today, that any person who fails to take risk will never succeed. So it's about risk taking. Farming is a business. Farming is a business. It's called agri-business. So in every business you have to risk. And in this case, when you are doing farming, it's taking a risk. Every day when you plant something, you are taking a risk. If you are in a market, you are taking a risk because you never know what may happen. It's the same to farming. When you are doing that, you are taking a risk and taking a lot of precautions so that the risk may not be higher. So let's not fear taking that risk of investing or starting farming. It is beneficial to you, and it's something that can be run even to your third generation and even to fourth generation. So let's not run to urban centers. Let's start it now. Let's start it here locally. There's a lot of money down here. There's gold in farming. So let's start it. It was advisable for us to join cooperatives because some of these farming activities are a bit expensive, and we need funding, either from government, either from NGOs, or any other sector that would like to fund. But you know, most of these sectors, they will not fund individuals. They will always fund a cooperative so that when they want to trace records about whatever the fund they releases, they come to cooperative. You get me? So it is good to always join a cooperative. Second, cooperatives will always help you. With the knowledge, with the trainings, and other things that you really need to move on. And for example, if you have, they will also find a market for you. For example, your milk, when you're producing a milk, you'll have to go through cooperative. If you suppose you are a bulk producer of milk, it is through cooperative that you will be able to reach market faster without getting into loss. So cooperatives are so much important. Farmers, we need to embrace it and we need to move on with it. It is good for county government or national government to come in to assist farmers, because you'll find that some farmers have a very big portion of land that are just lying. Why? Because these lands cannot be tilled by just using djembe. They need heavy machines like tractors to be tilled. We have so many places places that are just lying void without being used. You can, if you want to build a technological structure that can accommodate chicken and a large number of chicken or a large number of livestock, this cannot be done by an individual, a local person who has no finances. So it is upon government to identify these places and identify these serious farmers and fund them. And after funding them, they also look market for the produce or the products that are going to be gotten from this farming. This long season where we have a lot of rain that is just that is going into waste, it's just draining into waste. If the government can come up with a method on how we can harvest this water, so that we don't have a break whereby we are waiting for the next rain for us even to produce some things like bogas, for us even to get enough water for our livestock, for us to get enough water to do other things. So during this long rain seasons, it is a clarion call for government to come up with measures on how we are going to harvest this rain, so that it helps us throughout. Because a lot of rain is just going into waste. And there's a lot of technology. When you go to other countries, you'll find there's a lot of technology whereby the rain is being harvested and is being used continuously until we get into another season of long rain or short rain. So I'm calling upon the government, I'm calling to all local leaders and government leaders to start pushing into this, so that we have a way on how we harvest the rain that is just getting into waste. It is my advice to the local leaders, like for example local government. Local government, we have the county government, we have the governor, we have the senators, we have the MPs, we have the MCAs, we have the women reps. It is a call from myself that let us support farmers, local farmers. Let's look away. Let's look at it, even if it means sourcing funds for these farmers. Let's source funds for these farmers and let's train them. Let's look away on how we can help the farmers to source good technologies and the new technologies that are going to help them produce more and more, especially in terms of if you look, for example, in our farms. Most farmers are running into losses because they cannot access enough, leave alone even now the fertilizer itself. Some of them are getting those fertilizers, but the fertilizer they are getting is not even enough for even one farmer to produce the kind of maize they wanted to produce. So let our local leaders help us even sensitize and even get more funds, so that we get more and more technologies that we are going to use to our farms. When it comes to chicken production, I'm also calling upon our local leaders, the political leaders. If you want to kick away the jar that keeps on biting our local members, we need to treat them, we need to train them, we need to support them, we need to kind of give them a financial support. We need to talk to them each and every time that they need to embrace the new technology. Without this, we are going to leading a country, we are going to lead our people that are going to be angry. I mean, hungry every time and again. You know, a hungry person is an angry person. So that every time you'll find that they are so much angry, they are causing chaos because they are hungry. So let's look away on how to deal with their hunger. The only way that we are going to deal with their hunger, it is by helping them even to get the finances, helping them to get a good training about on how to do or to embrace the new technology. Like for example, if you go to chicken farming, each and every day here you find that somebody is coming to buy a kg or 2 kgs. Now even you find that this person has around 100 plus chicken. If you ask him, how do you go about, they're saying that I'm just buying this so that I mix with the maize that I'm having at home. What about if the government could have reduced the cost of feed? Farmers are not going to overstay with the chicken because they are underfeeding, or they are feeding their chicken with the poorly formulated feeds. You know, when you feed a chicken with the poorly formulated feeds, your chicken is going to take more time in the farm. But if our leaders could come into our rescue, they could come to help us, to support us, we are going to raise this chicken as a shortest time possible, and it's going to reach the market very fast. And we continue doing that every time and again, because one, we are going to access a cheap feed, a cheap but quality feed. You see, it's going to help us a lot to increase even production and also compete with the time, because the more this thing stays on our farm, the more it eats into our profit. And this happens because our farmers, they are using the locally available things they are having. There are feeds that are not properly formulated. They are fumbling up with this farming. Why? Because the cost is high for them. The government has piled tax on the feeds or the raw materials for creating the feeds. So you find that at the end of it all these burdens are being channeled to the farmer down there. Because me as a retailer who sells feeds, I will always increase 10 shillings in feeds depending on how the distributor gives me. And the distributor is getting the same thing from the producer, and the producer is getting the same thing from the government, because when the government put more tax on the raw materials for producing feeds for our livestock, for our chicken, it will reflect onto the farmer, and will end up at the end of it all, farmer is going to produce one, low quality chicken or low quality milk, or a milk that is already contaminated, or a chicken that is already contaminated with the aflatoxin. You know, when the farmer is going to the posho mill to crush maize for the chicken, they don't have a proper method of preserving this produce that they are produced to feed chicken. And that's why you'll find that this feed will have aflatoxin. And aflatoxin will be when the chicken consume this feed, aflatoxin is going to run onto the chicken. And the person who is going to consume this chicken is at risk. Their health is at risk. And this risk is being created by the government. How? They are creating this risk because they are not they have piled heavy taxes on the feeds. So at given time, you'll find that the politicians and other people and the local leaders are leading a community that are already infected. They are leading a community that is not in good health because what they have done up there. So I'm calling upon the government. Let us look away on how to even reduce the taxes or give a zero rate tax on the raw materials for the feed production or any other production that is related to the farming. From there, we are going to have more yield or more food in the market. That one, it is so much accessible to anyone. Second, it is healthier. When we consume it, we are going to consume something that is much healthier, something that is not going to to shorten our period or shorten our life of staying. So I'm still pushing on the government, I'm still pushing on any local leader to help farmers access good technology that is achievable by even that local farmer that is down there. Fertilizers, utapata kwamba fertilizers ambazo the fertilizers that are coming to the local farmers, sometimes it push a farmer to fumble up with anything that is there that can help them produce. Utapata kwamba at the end of it all, they are producing a food that is already contaminated. It's going to the market when it's already contaminated, and it's causing health risk issues to the community that these political people are leading. So it is upon us, it is upon the government, it is upon the local leaders, it is upon the politicians, the MPs. Let them push even at where they are. Let them push so that we have a free taxed raw materials on feeds that we are feeding our livestock, our chicken, our pigs, any other thing, or any other material that we are using to produce things like maize, things like wheat, things like beans. Because when they don't do that, when the farmer opt for a local, a cheap thing, it's so much risk to even that, because at a certain point it's going to reach that MP up there. So they should know, as they keep on pushing onto the heavy taxes on the raw materials for production down here, it's going to affect them. At some point it reaches them. Like for example, when a local farmer is producing broilers, and broilers has a lot of complications that it needs proper medication. It needs a veterinary officer to go there. Na utapata kwamba a local farmer will not afford that. Some of the drugs in the shelves, a local farmer will not afford it, and it's going to overstay in the shelf. When it overstayed in the shelf, when it's a retailer or a stockist who is not so much concerned on people's health, they are going to sell it out. And once they sell it out, it's going to cause even more harm to the consumer who is going to consume that broiler, who is going to consume that improved kienyeji chicken, and many things. Again, if they don't sponsor local farmers to have trainings down here, we are going to kind of consume things that are already contaminated. Because when the farmer is not properly enlightened on the drug they're using, you are risking the life of the consumer. And that's what has been happening all along. Because unapata kwamba, let me tell you this. You find that this farmer is going to struggle with this chicken. It has already been infected, but now it's struggle. It's going to fumble up with the antibiotics, and maybe unapata kwamba the disease has attacked the farm. And after attacking the farm, because the farmer has no proper knowledge, he will start with the vaccine. It fails. It comes to antibiotic. It fails. He go to another antibiotic. It fails. He tries with the multivitamin. It fails. Now when all this thing has failed, na anaona ngombe yake inaenda kukufa, anatafuta mtu wa bucha. Anauzia hiyo ngombe. It's going to reach our butchery very fast. Daily it reaches our butcheries. This contaminated meat reach our butcheries. Contaminated eggs are reaching our shelves, our shops, day and night, because there's no any local farmer who is aware that once I've fed or I've treated the chicken or treated the cow, I should take a certain period of time before releasing that food to the market. Most of us, they inject the cow today. Tomorrow they are putting the milk. They just milk the whole thing and then they take to the market. Unapata kwamba the chicken has refused to respond. They're not responding to the drug. What will this farmer do? He will slaughter them and put them in the market, or he will look for somebody who can consume it, either kwa matanga, either kwa harusi, and they sell it off. And they don't know that they are risking the life of the consumer who has attended that funeral, who has attended that wedding. So when I'm calling upon the government, I'm calling upon our local leaders. Let us do a lot of sensitization. Let's do a lot of training to these local farmers. Let's give them the knowledge. And this knowledge cannot be given to them free of charge. It is upon these local leaders to organize these seminars. Let's do more of this and inform and give the farmers more information that whatever thing, the practice they are doing is so much risk to their health, it's so much risk to the person that is selling the product. So this cannot happen if our local leaders has not come up to help farmers realize and get knowledge on whatever thing they are doing. When you're putting down a plan, again, I want to talk to our farmers. When you're putting a plan, don't put a short-term plan. Don't put a plan whereby I'm just going to raise goats for a certain time, a certain period. I'm just going to raise pigs for a certain period. Create a farm that is going to serve you, your children, your grandchildren, and even a fourth generation to come. And when we do this, it is going to be an employment, and this one is also going to decrease, or going to we are going to bring our more youth down here, because what are going to do in Mjengo in Nairobi, if you can create more money here. Do you know that me personally, I want to speak this to farmers. Me personally, I was from Nairobi, and when I come down here and realize farming has more money than whatever thing I'm doing in Nairobi, I came down here. So there is money down here, and this is also something that I'm trying to incite our youth. There are more money here. There are more money here. Let's sit down. Let's talk. Let's create a plan. Let's create something that is going to be helpful to you even as you start farming. Thank you.